This film tells the story of a beautiful girl who for the first time feels undisturbed passion in herself. Day after day she is addicted to giving vent to it. The film begins by showing a teacher who is reprimanding his students for not wearing belts. Every morning before entering class, this teacher checks his students. Then there was a student named Elise who was walking to her class. When entering the classroom, Teacher Murphy was explaining sins and things that were strictly prohibited by religion. Then the students there asked questions. Is squirting on purpose a sin? Master Murphy immediately answered that this was forbidden in any religion, and there he added that conception without marriage was also a sin. After class, Alice was met by her close friend Laura, who was discussing the assignment given by Mr. Murphy. Arriving home, Alice was greeted by her beloved dog. Then she went to the computer desk. When she found a message from a stranger that Alice didn't know, he sent inappropriate photos to Alice. Seeing this photo, Alice was shocked. After seeing the picture, Alice then put her hand inside her skirt while playing with her ring finger. While she was exploring, her mother suddenly called. The next day, when Alice was in the canteen with Laura, suddenly her school friends came and talked about the gossip circulating that Alice had committed an indecent act against Wade. In the afternoon the school will give an offering, which is usually Alice who brings the offering, but today she was replaced by another student because the teacher there had heard gossip about Alice. Then Alice goes to Mr. Murphy to confess her sins. There Alice immediately said that she always quarreled with her father, never helped her mother, and often forgot to feed her dog. Alice then heads to church to pray. Then the next day the school immediately held a retreat activity. With this activity, it is hoped that all students can get closer to God. When she got there, Alice was fascinated by a man named Chris. He is a quite famous soccer player and has a big body. Alice couldn't control her imagination. She imagined herself touching thick hair in his hands. They went into their respective rooms. Then Alice was approached by the committee there to give them clothes and also bring electronic equipment such as cell phones and so on. At that time Alice only gave him a watch, while his cell phone was hidden in bag. In the afternoon, they were divided into several groups, and Alice happened to be in Chris' group. After that they were assigned to fill in their feelings. This is a kind of personality test. At that time, Alice chose to feel passionate, but soon she changed her mind. When he was about to replace it, it turned out that the time had run out and she had to immediately take it. Continue with the sad activity. All students are seen listening to the sad story, including Alice. At night, Alice plays games on her smartphone, and activates silent mode, but the vibration is still active. She brought her cell phone closer to that part. Suddenly Alice felt a vibration which made her relax and Alice really enjoyed it. The second day they held activities around the forest with the aim of making our aura merge with nature. Not long after they walked, Alice pretended to get Chris' attention, and sure enough, Chris immediately picked up Alice in his lap and immediately took her to the dormitory. When she got there, Alice was about to continue last night's event, but at that time the organizers there came and realized that there was a cell phone vibrating in the cupboard, and yes, Alice was caught hiding cell phone, and immediately gave it to her. She is punishment. Alice was forced to undergo this punishment, but it didn't stop there. Now she created a new problem. Alice secretly entered Mr. Murphy to operate the computer. In the afternoon, Mr. Murphy read the letter sent by the students' parents. All the students there were very moved to hear it, because all this time they thought that their parents never cared about them, but after hearing the letter, they realized that they were actually really loved by his parents. On the third day, Mr. Murphy immediately announced the price of someone playing on his computer, but at that time no one admitted it. Now Alice is starting to serve her sentence. She is starting to clean up. Suddenly Wade comes. He starts looking for trouble with Alice. He messes up the work that Alice is doing. Luckily at that time Mr. Murphy immediately comes and fights to avoid him. At that time, Alice found Wade's bracelet and immediately took it with her. Alice then continued cleaning towards the kitchen. There she saw Nina squatting in front of her boyfriend. Alice was shocked, but she imagined she was in Nina's position. Then Alice rubbed her mop stick, and when she was closing her eyes enjoying it, suddenly a nurse came and startled her. Seeing this incident, Alice met Laura and told her everything, but Laura did not believe Alice's words. Laura even accused Alice of operating Mr. Murphy's computer. Because she was annoyed, she left Alice. Since her work was not finished, Alice continued cleaning. At that time, Alice installed Wade's bracelet on Mr. Murphy's computer in the hope that Wade could become a suspect. Not long after, Mr. Murphy came and Alice immediately hid. Unexpectedly, Mr. Murphy likes watching films like that while operating on his hands. Alice, who was peeking in, was shocked. She never imagined it. Another time, Alice was alone with Chris. While they were chatting, Alice suddenly kissed Chris because she couldn't stand it anymore. Chris was never surprised and immediately left Alice. Now entering day 4, Alice is starting to be ignored by her friends. She then approaches her new friend who is sitting alone. Laura then apologized for her accusation yesterday. She already knew that it was Wade who entered Mr. Murphy's room, and not only that, Laura now knows that the bad news about Alice and Wade was Wade's trick to hide that he was Wade. Time continues to pass, and now that her activities are finished, Alice goes home. While at school, Alice met Mr. Murphy. There Alice confessed the sins she had committed so far. However, what surprised Mr. Murphy was when Alice told him about someone who casually watched an inappropriate film. After school, Alice then watched the film while installing the screw with great appreciation. And the film ends. The point that can be taken from this film is that we should not do things that are prohibited by religion, because these are all sinful acts and disobeying religious commands. Alice, Mr. Murphy, and Wade should not be used as examples. Take the positive side. Thank you for watching. Subscribe now for other interesting content. See you in the next video.